Alright guys, what's up? Here at the San Diego Zoo, it's iconic, and here's a little bus tour. It's a 30-minute tour. Hope you enjoy this 35 to 40-minute tour, and
see all kinds of amazing animals.
I'm excited, guys.
Before we get too far though, we do have to go over some safety rules. Please make sure we're keeping all personal belongings and body parts inside the bus at all times. All of your heads, arms, and legs, paws and claws and tails gotta stay inside the bus at all times. Please do not reach out to touch any people, vehicles, or plants that we pass on by. Now, just as a reminder, folks, you're going to be seeing a lot of wildlife here on this tour. We always want to be respectful of our wildlife. We want to make sure we're never yelling or clapping at them, waving at them, trying to get their attention, or making any animal noises at them. I like to say we want to leave the roaring to the lions and the tigers. Thank you very much. Alright, folks, up ahead of us, we are about to be dropping down into the Lost Forest. Everyone say, very nice. Alright, folks, as we make our way towards our first animal habitat, I'll be telling you a little bit about myself, and that way you're actually going to learn more about this zoo that we're trying to put together here on this tour. Now, as I said, my name is Dominic. I'm your tour guide and your driver. I've been working here at the zoo for over 2 years now, and I love my job getting to drive you guys around and show you guys all these awesome animals that I love so much. My love for wildlife actually started right here at the San Diego Zoo. Getting to see all these testing. No, a little better. Alright, sorry. So here's some feedback. As I was saying, so hopefully here on the tour today, I can teach you guys all about these animals I love so much. Show you guys some animals you would never otherwise get the chance to see. Teach you all about this zoo, its animals, and its mission to help create a world where all life thrives. We're going to be pulling over to hopefully get to see some tigers here. If you guys see any tigers over on your left, let me know because then it's time to start panicking. Alright folks, over on your right, this is the habitat for our Malayan tiger. Looks like he's taking a little bit of a cat nap right in the middle of his habitat. I'll pull forward for just a minute for you folks in the back, trying to figure out my microphone. That's fantastic. See if that's any better. So folks, Malayan tigers are unfortunately one of the most critically endangered of all tiger subspecies. So here at the San Diego Zoo, we do a lot of conservation research and employ a lot of scientists to help us out with that. But all the animals that live here at the zoo, they are scientists alongside us, helping us find out more about their species and more ways we can help protect their ecosystem and help fight against their extinction. So over on your right, that is one of our adult male Malayan tigers. Laying down right in the middle of its habitat, kind of behind the big tree. Alright folks, a couple more important things I need to mention. Upper deck, I know you guys can't see me, but I can see you guys. I do have a camera at the front of Upper Deck. If you guys want to look forward, wave for me. Well, thank you guys. Now for everyone on board, if you guys ever happen to drop something off this bus, you guys are going to let me know by raising your hand up nice and high. If I see you do that, I'm also going to stick my hand up nice and high because together we will be waving it goodbye. Alright, coming up on your right, folks, we got 2 different animal habitats for me to show y'all. Coming up first, closest to us is our hippo habitat. Amazingly well designed because you can see them down in the water where they spend the majority of their time, but also up on land where they go to feed. If you guys look further back, you'll see our okapis. We do have 2 okapis here at the San Diego Zoo, and they are a mated pair. Everyone say, aww. Well done. Remember, folks, please keep everything inside the bus. Thank you. Alright, folks, I have a very important question for you guys. The next animal that we are about to see is bright pink. What do you guys think it's about to be? Shout it out. Flamingos, well done. We'll be seeing them coming up on our left in just a moment. Alrighty, folks, coming up on your left, we have our flamingos. You guys guessed it right. Well done. Look in the middle of their habitat. You're going to see some structures they've been working on in there. That's right. Those are flamingo nests. I got fingers crossed in a couple months. Maybe we'll have some eggs and maybe some adorable flamingo chicks. But folks, real quick, if you guys see more than one flamingo, give me a thumbs up. If you guys see more than one flamingo, give me a thumbs up. Oh, perfect. Now that we've confirmed that there are a group of them, I get to tell you what a group of flamingos is called. A group of flamingos is called a flamboyant. A flamboyance of flamingos. I know that might sound silly, but that is the proper name for a group of flamingos. So flamingos, like I said, or I guess I haven't said yet, they can be 5 to 6 feet tall and they're bright pink as you saw. So calling a group of them a flamboyance, I feel like is pretty fitting. Alright folks, right now we're going to be starting up towards the tip of this big hill here. As you start up towards this hill, I want you guys to look out your left-hand side. Everyone look out your left. You'll see a whole bunch of trees. Aha. Right now, you guys are looking and I tell you guys what's behind those trees. It is our animal hospital. It was actually the first ever built in all of North America. Right here at the San Diego Zoo. Goes to show that we have a long history of prioritizing our animals' health and welfare. That facility was built first all the way back in the 1920s, but of course it's been updated many, many times. Like I said, it's a state-of-the-art facility. Helps us take care of all of our diverse wildlife. Going up next on your right, folks, we have a special habitat called the multi-species habitat. Over there on your right, you'll see two different animals, the sneaks, gazelles, and the kudu. Now you can tell them apart that the kudu is going to be larger with vertical white stripes that help it break up its outline to camouflage from predators. In the middle of that habitat, I see our male kudu. He's got these big corkscrew-shaped horns that I think are just so cool. Only the males have horns. Unlike this next handful of species, our bontabugs on our right. Both the boys and the girls of bontabugs have horns. Coming up on your right, up next, we have our Vicenian lordy pigs. We actually don't know that much about them, so having them here at the zoo lets us do that all-important conservation research and find out ways we can help them thrive. Up next on your right, another antelope with a very special adaptation. I'm sure you guys can all see that long neck of it that helps it reach tall vegetation. Up next on your right, we have what might look like more pigs. But those are actually peccaries. Peccaries are their own distinct group of animals, separate from pigs. So please don't call them pigs. They get very offended when you call them that. Alright, coming up on your left, folks, is our Sky Safari. That's that aerial tram or gondola. Great way to get from the back of the zoo, where we are rest of the zoo, or vice versa. So it's a great way to get around and get the bird's eye view. And it's free. You can take it as many times as you like. Alrighty, folks, coming up on your left, we have our mountain lion.
This theater, babe. This theater.
Although they go by many different names, puma, panther, cougar, catamount, even ghost cat are all named the same animal. You see them right in the middle.
Theater for Animal Kingdom.
We have our 4D movie theater.
Watch it.
That does come with a small additional charge, but they have some great air conditioning in there if you guys want to check it on out. Up ahead of us, we are about to be entering Elephant Odyssey. Now, San Diego Zoo helps protect ecosystems all over the world through our conservation hub. But as we enter Elephant Odyssey, I want you guys looking over on our left. You'll see our native pollinator garden. And that's one of the ways we help out our conservation hub in our very own backyard here in the southwest of the U.S. So pollinators are really important animals that help all plants grow. Not only wild plants that help out those wild ecosystems, but also plants that us humans depend on. 1 out of every 4 bites of food that we take needs pollinators to grow. Think of all those bread, grains, fruits, and veggies that we all enjoy. So one way that you guys can help support your local ecosystems wherever you guys are from is planting native plants to your area around your home. If these plants help support your local pollinators, you get more beautiful butterflies and birds around your home, which you would want. Alright folks, listen up. We're about to be going into whisper mode. Everyone on this class, please use those whisper voices. Use the next one without attack. Everyone use the most quiet voices. Thank you guys. Keep that up for just the next level habitat. Coming on our right, we have our African lion. Alright, so start looking for them over on our right.
Oh, there he is. Hey, sleeping.
Alright, folks, let's make sure we're using those whisper voices. Looks like a few of you guys have spotted them. We have 2 African lions in here. Miss Ellen, our female, also known as a lioness, or our male lion, Ernest. Alright folks, we're going to stay in whisper mode for one more habitat. We're getting really close to the center, so it's important that we all use our whisper voices. Alright folks, I'm hearing too many loud voices. Thank you. So we're getting really close to an animal up ahead. We want to be respectful and be nice and quiet. So make sure we're getting those whisper voices. Our jaguar's going to be coming up at ground level on our right hand side. She's about to pass the front of the bus right now, so there's an idea of where she's going to be, where to look for her. Now, jaguars are the apex predator of the Amazon ecosystem. One of our conservation hubs is located there, the Amazonia Conservation Hub. So look at our habitat, that gives you an idea of what the Amazon looks like. Lots of big trees and lots of water, very dense plants in there. Now, you probably think that most cats are afraid of the water, but jaguars are an exception. They love to hunt, play, and swim in the water. Alright, thank you guys for participating with me in that whisper mode. I appreciate it. Coming up on our right is one of the largest habitat, the largest habitat here at the San Diego Zoo. It's over 3 acres big. And it is home to the largest land animal that exists today, our African elephants. And if you look over on your right, you're not going to see any elephants, but you will see some humans in that habitat. Those are some of our world famous wildlife care team members. Looks like they're setting up some enrichment for our elephants. You're not going to see the elephants in there. We're going to hope definitely see some up ahead though. So enrichment is anything we give our animals that's going to help keep them physically active but also mentally active. It's going to help us keep them in good physical and mental health, which is we care about both those humans too. So things like food puzzles and other things that help keep them, their bodies active but also their brains working hard and active. Up ahead, folks, we're about to be going through a small quiet zone. I'm actually going to go off mic. If you guys don't mind, please joining me. We'll be right back in just a moment. Thank you guys so much for participating with me in that quiet zone. That big building we passed back there was our elephant care center. I know earlier we talked about our animal hospital, but our elephants are simply too gigantic to transport over there. So having that custom-built care center for them helps us take care of any of their needs. And everything we do here with our animals is always voluntary. So everything they do, they always get rewarded with all kinds of special treats. Coming up on your right, I see you guys have spotted one of our younger male elephants. We'll get a closer look in just a moment. Over on your right, folks, this looks like Nepo, who's actually our youngest male elephant. He is 12 years old. Hopefully get a look at some more elephants up ahead. But looking at their habitat, all those crazy looking contraptions, those are forms of enrichment. Most of the enrichment our elephants get are types of food puzzles. Different animals all over the zoo might be getting different types of enrichment. If you see any big piles of dirt in the elephant's habitat, that's not an unfinished construction project, that is a form of enrichment as well. Elephants in the wild love to eat all different types of plants. Leaves, flowers, nuts, fruit, bark, even roots and tubers. So elephants in the wild will use their feet, trunk and tusks to dig up food. So sometimes we're mimicking that here at the zoo by burying some special treats for them to dig for. We got another tour group up ahead of us, so we're just going to give them some space, so we'll board in just a moment. But real quick, as we pull up, I need your guys' help. Everyone lift up one hand and rub your fingers together. Alright, why am I having you do this? Because it looks really funny when we all do that. No, I'm just kidding. There's a reason.
Oh, babe, look.
The tip of an elephant's trunk actually has about the same number of nerve endings as our fingertips do. So it gives you an idea of how sensitive the tip of their trunk is. Folks, we're going to get really close to two male elephants, also called bull elephants. So we're not going into whisper mode, but just make sure we're being respectful of them. If we're too loud, they might wander away, but if we're nice and respectful, you guys will get some great photos. Alright, we're going to park here for just a moment, give you guys some awesome photos and videos. Alright, folks, I'm going to be talking as quietly as I can on mic. Please make sure we're trying to stay nice and quiet. So the elephant that's closest to the front of the bus, that is Sun Tzu. He's actually that elephant that we saw earlier, Nepo. Sun Tzu is Nepo's older half-brother. He's 1 year older. The elephant that's now coming towards Sun Tzu, that is Musi. Musi is a 20-year-old male. So if you look side by side, he is bigger, and that's just because he's older. He is not related to either one of those elephants, but he is going to act as that older adopted brother that kind of acts as their role model. Looks like they're busy eating right now. Looks like Sun Tzu's trying to check out what Moosey was eating. That's a pretty typical elephant behavior. So I mentioned earlier how incredible their trunks are, but I didn't really get to finish that. So an elephant's trunk is kind of a fusion of their upper lip and their nose that's just gone really long, so they can smell with it. That's why he was kind of investigating what Moosey was eating, because he can smell what he's eating. But an elephant's trunk is incredibly strong, but it's also incredibly delicate, so it can pick up a single blade of grass. It's also strong enough to lift hundreds of pounds, even knock over trees. Oh my gosh, look, you guys are gonna... I guess he's taking some mud. I thought he was gonna get to drink. See, now Moosey is returning the favor and figuring out what Sun Tzu's eating. You guys just saw really cool behavior. Sometimes we give our elephants big old mud pits to roll around in. Looks like Sun Tzu just made his own mud. So you guys might have seen that. He slurped up some water from his watering trough there, squirted on the ground, made some mud, threw the mud on himself to cool himself off. Did I mention how smart elephants are? Alright, we're gonna keep moving on, folks. Elephants are some of my favorite animals that we have here. I will call a lot of the animals on this tour my favorite, but these young male elephants are some of my most favorite. Glad you guys got that extra cool experience with them. Huge thank you to all of you guys for staying respectful, not yelling at them or clapping at them. Just because these animals live in a zoo, they are still wild animals. So thank you guys so much. You guys did awesome. I appreciate it. Alright, the animal that's coming up next, it is one of the largest birds in North America. It's got a 9 to 10 foot wingspan. For reference, the front of this bus is barely over 8 feet wide, so it gives you an idea of how big its wings are. This bird actually almost went extinct in the 1980s due to the hard work of the San Diego Zoo and the Los Angeles Zoo. We were able to help bring this animal back from the brink of extinction. This is the California condor, folks. Perched high up on top of this favorite tree, California condors, like other condors and vultures, are scavengers, meaning that they are part of nature's cleanup crew. In nature, everything is connected. Every single animal has its own special job or role that actually benefits the entire ecosystem. So California condors, like other scavengers, by then cleaning up nature, they are helping to reduce the rate of disease that we see in wild ecosystems. How cool is that? So every animal has a job or role that's called their niche. Everyone remember that word niche. It's going to come up again later, okay? Alright, folks, coming up on your right, we have our meerkat. Meerkats live in large social family groups, just like humans do. Yep, that's right. The more you learn about animals, the more you find out how much we have in common with them. They were really not that much different, so just like we talked about. Both meerkats and humans live typically in large social family groups. Alright folks, on this tour we've mostly been talking about animals, but that's not the only important part of nature or the only thing that San Diego Zoo helps to take care of. The San Diego Zoo is also a protected botanical garden. Meaning that we have plants from all over the world, all over our zoo. For example, coming up on our right, we have plants from all over Africa here. Now going to Africa is on my bucket list. I haven't quite made it over there yet, so getting to see all these awesome African plants here is pretty cool that I get to see those right here in San Diego. Now I mentioned how important plants are in nature, but why is that? Well, plants provide the foundation for every single ecosystem or food chain on Earth. They're the ones providing food and shelter for all those different animals. You guys might be thinking, but wait a minute, not all animals are plant eaters. You're right. But the animals that don't eat plants, well, they eat the animals that eat the plants. So you see, it all goes back to plants. You can think of plants as the foundation. Think of a food chain like a pyramid. A big, strong foundation is the only way that food chain's gonna last. So lots of plants help keep an ecosystem very healthy. So the San Diego Zoo, I mentioned, is a protected botanical garden. Some of the plants we take care of here are critically endangered. So we want to make sure that we're not touching any of them. This time of year, we got all kinds of gorgeous flowers here at the zoo. So when you guys see pretty flowers or just any plants here at the San Diego Zoo, please make sure that we're not touching it. What you do instead is you take a photo of that gorgeous flower rather than picking it. And that way it keeps that potentially critically endangered plant, you don't know, healthy. Plus it keeps those flowers around for everyone to enjoy. A photo is going to last forever. A flower is probably going to die after just a day or so. So we got gorgeous flowers coming up on our right and our left. So if you're going to take photos of them, but please do not pick those flowers. Coming up on your left, we have some gorgeous pink hibiscus flowers. Alright folks, speaking of plants, everyone look over on your left for one of our most popular gardens. Please enjoy responsibly. You are allowed to bring those adult beverages on tour with you. They do seem to make my jokes extra funny. Alright, we're going to be turning down this road in just a moment. Alright folks, we are turning down a road called Upper Center Street, but it used to have a different name. I still like to call it by that old name. That old name used to be called Bear Canyon. You guys have any guesses? What type of animals think we're going to see in Bear Canyon? Shout it out. Bears, well done. Good thing that you guys didn't guess anything silly like zebras before. I was actually going to say that before I had someone just yell that out now. Coming up on our right is our first bear habitat. I know it's undergoing some maintenance, so I don't know if we're going to see any bears in it. We'll hopefully see some in the next one. Like I mentioned, everything that our animals do here at the San Diego Zoo is always voluntary. So everything that they do here is always up to them. That includes whether they're front and center or in a more hard-to-see area. This habitat is home to Shala, our mama sloth bear. And she's got two little cubs right now named Kumar and Shahani. So you guys can come back by that area later on and hopefully get to see them. Looks like they might have been napping somewhere we couldn't see it. Alright folks, this habitat and the next habitat are connected. They're home to some brown bear brothers. I see one of them coming up on our right.
Taking a nap, dude.
And I see the other one in the back middle. Now folks, their names are Scout and Montana, and they have access to two different habitats because brown bears are typically solitary animals, meaning that they like their own space. But these brothers have been together their entire life, so they can often be seen close together. You guys could almost say that we just couldn't bear to separate them. I apologize, folks. I forgot to warn you at the beginning of the tour that sometimes I do have some pretty unbearable puns on the tour. But thank you guys for laughing. Let me know that I am at least barely funny. Alright, that's all. So folks, this was Scout and Montana. Looks like they're taking some bear naps right now. I'm sure they'll be up and active a little later on. Alright folks, one way that you guys can help out bears like Scout in Montana and really all animals is by practicing something called leave no trace. Anytime you guys are out in the wild, make sure you're not leaving any trace of you being there behind. Never leaving any food or trash behind. The only thing that's okay to leave behind is footprints. If you leave food or trash behind, this destroys valuable habitat, as well as can make some animals very sick and die, which of course we don't want. Over on your right, you guys might see a male sloth bear. If you guys have ever seen the movie The Jungle Book, Baloo was a sloth bear. Alright, in that back right corner, you see a little bit of Turbo, or adult male Andean bear. And Andean bears get their name because they live in the dense jungles near the Andean mountains. So I mentioned Andean bears live in the dense jungles near the Andean mountains. That's how they get their name. And we're about to be driving through a dense jungle right now. Wow, what a coincidence. It's almost like a really skilled tour guide planned that. Anyways, earlier I taught you guys a word that means an animal's job or role in their ecosystem. You guys remember what that word was? Shout it out. Okay, I heard one person say it. I know no more of you guys remembered it. That word means an animal's job or role in their ecosystem. What was it again? Shout it out for me. Niche. There we go. I got a few more of you guys. So another example of a niche is Andean bears. Their niche is as seed dispersers. They're going to be eating lots of fruit, and by doing so help spread those seeds around, helping plant new trees. Well, how do they do that? Well, you guys all know what a bear does in the woods, right? Yep, that's how they do it. They're going to be depositing all those seeds in that fresh Andean bear fertilizer. Alright, we're going to try and let this security car go by.
Hurry.
Alright. So yeah, Andean bears are going to be depositing all those seeds they eat in that fresh Andean bear fertilizer, helping keep that whole jungle ecosystem thriving. Jungle ecosystems are really important because they're home to over half of all animal species. We actually have two different conservation hubs dedicated to rainforest jungles, like the Asian rainforest as well as the Amazonia conservation hub we mentioned earlier. Alright folks, up ahead we're going to be entering our Africa Rocks area. We'll be seeing lots of animals and plants from our African conservation hub. Coming up first is a black and white African animal. You guys have any guesses who please shout it out? Zebra's close, but not quite. It's penguin. What? Yeah, look over on your left if you guys can see any of those tuxedo chickens. Whoops, I mean penguins, that's what I meant to say. Those are South African penguins, so they're adapted to living in warmer climates. They're quite warm here in Southern California. Alright, so as we continue on, look on your left, we walk up primates, lake lemurs, and monkeys. Lemurs over on your left, you guys can spot them. These guys are all different climbers. High and low, up and down, and all around for them. see how many koalas you can see. San Diego Zoo actually has the largest group of koalas living outside of Australia. They live right here in San Diego, California. Now, one thing that's really cool about koalas is some of the adaptations that they have to help them climb. Koalas actually have 2 thumbs, but not like us. They have 2 thumbs on each of their front hands for a total of 4 thumbs. I think that's really impressive. If you guys don't think that that's impressive, let me see you guys give me 4 thumbs up. Alright, that's what I thought. Now, one last thing about koalas is that they are a great example of a specialist animal. They specialize in eating one type of food, and that is eucalyptus leaves. That is the only thing that koalas eat. Other animals are what's known as generalists, where they eat a wide variety of food, kind of like the elephants that we talked about earlier. Another example of a generalist is us humans. We have a pretty wide variety in our diet. So if any of you guys are feeling hungry, look over on your right for Sydney's Grill.
Yeah.
It's a great place to grab a bite to eat. I don't know about you guys, but I can smell those lunch treats right now. They smell really good. It's also for my lunchtime, so that might be part of it. Anyways, hopefully y'all grabbed a map or downloaded our app. Both those resources have all of our restaurants and gift store labeled on there. Like the gift store on your left, for example, Sydney's Shop. And whether you guys are buying a snack or a souvenir or a meal or a membership, you guys can feel good about it because the San Diego Zoo is a non-profit organization, meaning all those proceeds go to benefit all those amazing animals we saw on tour today, like those amazing elephants that you guys got that extra special experience with today. San Diego Zoo is not just a zoo. We are a global conservation organization, meaning that all those proceeds also benefit animals all over the world like we talked about today. It's all because of you guys that we're able to do that. You guys come to the zoo, helping supporting us, helping us protect our ecosystem, and help us in our mission to help all life thrive. Collaboration, innovation, and inspiration. And by all life, I mean humans, plants, and animals. But folks, I'd like to personally thank each and every single one of you guys for coming on my tour today. Without you guys coming on my tour, I would not live my dream job every day. Get to drive you guys around and teach you guys about all these animals that I love so much. Hopefully you guys had a lot of fun on my tour. Hopefully you think this tour deserves not 2 thumbs up, but 4 out of 4.
Alright guys, hope you enjoyed it.
Thumbs up.
Follow, subscribe.